So let's talk about it, because we're going to host DCAC Europe, and you're going to help us.
Absolutely.
DCAC Europe is going to be in October. What are the dates again?
It's October 15th, 16th.
And it's going to be?
It's DCAC Europe, but the host city is going to be Dublin. It is a European conference about Europe. Unfortunately, if it was just about Dublin, it would be a very short conference. No. But that's not what this conversation that we had was about. It was about hosting a conference that is about the European market, but in the same mannerisms as I saw the Austin conference. But obviously, it's in Europe. It is a different environment, right? It's data centers. It's similar environment, but there are some very, very core similarities, and there are very core unique differences. Culture being one, and multiple cultures getting together within Europe. So we're going to have it in Dublin. It's going to be in a venue called The Well. It's just off Grafton Street, which is one of the best.
It's going to be limited. We're going to limit it to how many people? 250 or 300?
It's going to be 250 to 300 people. It's first year, It's
going to be limited, though. We're doing it intentionally to where we could maximize that space.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great space. It was about, obviously one thing that you guys have done really well, and I'm a lover of music, and music has got me, through some dark times, and also really helped me enjoy some really good times. And we
do a concert one night.
Yeah, it's a wonderful.
What's the band?
People. So we have a band called the Riptide Movement, who are a well-known Irish band. Might not necessarily be known by a lot of people, but they have travelled. They play Glastonbury every year. They play the Electric Picnic, which is Ireland's biggest festival. It's going to be cool. We've got some things lined up like what you do in the US. We've got a charity golf tournament. Again, limited entries. We've got about 80 spots.
And it's for that we're raising money for suicide prevention.
Yeah, so suicide prevention and self-harm prevention, a charity, an Irish charity called Pieta House. They're a wonderful charity. I've talked to them many a times. I know a lot of people that have benefited, and they're also very supportive for the unfortunate events which happen where people are successful in taking their own lives. They do a huge amount for the families that are left behind. And a lot of work, which is amazing. So I spoke to them a couple of weeks ago, and we've agreed that they're going to be, they've agreed and we've agreed that they're going to be our charity of choice. And I think it's very fitting when we're talking about that human piece. So I think, I think there's a lot of pain and suffering out there, and it's important to be able to give something back.
It's important. We can't do an event like this without contributing to the local society, communities in general. And that's what every year we do a charity golf event that typically benefits a veteran community that's focused on helping, transitioning veterans. I do know that we have some big names, and we're going to roll those out, but of the companies that are at least coming, are there any that I know that we talked about today? You and David have been really crushing bringing this conference over to Dublin, but there's some cool companies that are coming to speak at this thing.
Yeah, there's some cool companies that are coming to speak. We've got speakers from Stack, from Pure, from Yonder,
Vantage.
We've got Vantage.
Probably a couple of hyperscalers. Maybe
we've got a couple of hyperscalers that we're talking to at the moment. Obviously, it's and I know there's intros and stuff, and there's some conversations been had, and there's some people that have a both a business and an individual personal reason to want to be involved. We've a lot of we spoke to a lot of people who are really, really keen on getting behind this.
Well, for them to get behind this, I want them to understand what this is, right? So those that are going to be coming to this, we've done this in America. And the model is we do a three-phase approach. We're focused on, we're going to focus on a state of the industry. I know there's a group that you have, particularly Lineside. Is that what it was?
Yeah, so we've talked to Lineside. They're going to help us with state of the industry, and then a couple of other people who are going to talk a bit deeper on specific topics.
We're going to talk about Yeah, but we're gonna talk about people. We're gonna talk about power, and we're talking about it from the industry's perspective. But we'll also have a really awesome panel that will be named like I'm going to moderate that panel. If that's cool, but it's going to be you and name some of the other people that you're going to have in that panel.
Yeah. So I suppose what we looked at, when I was talking to you and looking at this piece of, when we look to attract people into the sector, military is obviously a very prominent place to look. So we were looking at, okay, so we have option with some military folk from SAS in the UK, and also some ex-military folk in the Irish market who are now actually involved in development of industry. And then I started thinking about where else do high achievers, high performers, winners, team players come from.
Leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sport. You know, we talked last time in the pod, especially people who have played team sport, like, you know, the military is the ultimate team. You know,
sure.
I don't know if I call it a sport, but you know what I mean. It's the ultimate team effort, right?
Sure.
And so I've spoken to people who are involved within the Gaelic Players Association. So Gaelic sports are obviously huge in Ireland. As we know, they're not professional. Well, as a lot of people know, not everybody, they're not professional sports. But the guys and girls that are playing those sports are training like professional athletes, but they're not getting income. They do get some expenses. And their annual final of the year, you know, has 80,000+ people at it. It's a cult following. The following of GAA sports in Ireland is the equivalent of college football or basketball in the US.
Got it.
It's not about your big soccer or NBA or NFL team. It's about your local community, where you went to college, what you're involved in, so your local county in Gaelic. So it is. And these people are absolute heroes. But when they finish their career, it's not like they've earned 10 million, 20 million. So they've got to have careers. And I have seen some of those guys that are in our industry that have played at
like
those
footballers or
footballers and Gaelic and hurlers. And then as well, also rugby players. So we have talked to the Gaelic Players Association and the Irish Rugby Players Association. And those two associations, because those people don't leave with stacks of money, those two associations try to do a lot to help the guys and girls within those sports to look at education while they're actually playing, and then when they finish, to look at their careers. So we're going to get those people to come in on a panel with us.
We need them. What we're talking about is you're attracting leaders, future leaders, leaders that leadership transcends, right? You don't have to know a lot about a subject to be a great leader. And this industry, as a matter of fact, is not short on really intelligent people. I would challenge you to find another industry, in fact, that has smarter people. However, that doesn't mean those people are great leaders. It just means that they could do long division faster than us combined, you know? So we also need leaders. We need people that have command presence and conviction in what they do, and, you know, are going to do the right thing even when it's a hard thing. And those are leaders, right? And we need those people. This industry is absent of that, or lacking that. And I think that what we're talking about is introducing leadership into this industry, and then humanizing what it takes to be a leader upstream and downstream, because this industry does need more craftsmen with a trade or a skill, but we need more leaders. And we're going to host a panel on the human element of what we do. So we'll talk about what's going on in Europe, what's going on in EMEA, what's going on in the industry as a whole. From a geography perspective, we're going to talk about the power constraints. We're going to talk about the constraints for labor. And then we're going to talk about what we're doing as an industry to help improve the lives of humans in this industry, so that as an industry, we can improve the output and performance of everyone in the industry.
Absolutely.
And that's it. And that's what we're doing. So we're doing it in October. We're going to do it like a month, it's like 3 weeks after DCAC Austin. And then we're getting right on a boat and we're going over to Ireland and doing the same thing. We're going to do it in a much more limited capacity, because we want it to be massively effective, right? And we want it to be something that we expand on. Maybe we stay in Dublin the next year. Maybe we move throughout another part of Europe. But I will say, we really look at Dublin is the perfect place to give birth to DCAC Europe, because I just see it as it's a gritty town. A lot of hardworking people. A lot of hardworking people from that nation are responsible for building a lot of the badass things that we have here in this nation. So I just see it as a city that has a chip on its shoulder, right? And I just see it as one that I've gone out there and played before, and it plays hard with you know?
It does, yeah.
But I love that town, and I think that's the perfect market in Europe for us to plant our flag for the anti-conference for the data center industry. And we're going to focus again on what's happening in that part of the pond. We're going to focus on the power and the people, but we're going to focus on the human side.
Absolutely.
And that conference is designed to inspire people. So no one, like, I always tell every speaker, and these are the speakers that if we're talking to them now for Europe, it's the same thing I tell the ones in America. No one will remember a word that you tell them, but they will remember exactly how you made them feel. So the job for every speaker is to introduce the listener to something that they are inspired to go learn everything they can about it. And if you can do that, then that's the only way to really grow this industry, is to get people to understand it better, and you have to inspire them to do that. And that's what the responsibility of these speakers are.
Yeah,
do you agree?
Absolutely. 100% agree.
So I'm really excited about this event. We would not be doing DCAC Europe without your leadership, the support of Moy, and all the network that you have, that you feel like, I don't think we'll have a hard time filling up 250 to 300 slots over there. I think, in fact, it'll go quickly, but it doesn't matter how fast it sells. It matters how much it impacts.
Yeah, it has to be about the impact. Look, I'm lucky that some of the other people in my network are backing this too, and have said, look, yeah, you know, Carl, if you buy in,
we could change the industry with this.
Yeah, I really believe that, you know, we've talked about this before. There's some great conferences, you know, there really is. But I think that what we can do with this on a small scale to start, what we can do with this is really change people's mindset, and just open people's eyes too.
That's it.
It's
open their eyes.
Yeah, open their eyes. And you know what? We can have a bit of fun while we're at it. You know, myself and David are cooking up a few little things, and we're trying to look at, you know, look, this is really important that this is a European event. But look, a lot of the capital for our industry comes from America. A lot of the people that we know and the businesses that we know are US. So I think we're going to cross over a bit of fun between the European and the US mix, between food and activities and some of the stuff we do. And, you know, let's have a bit of fun. You know, let's have a laugh.
We're going to have some healthy hours there for sure.
Absolutely. 100%.
So what people could expect is this conference will have happy hours. I'm not taking the booze away because it is fun if you could do it in moderation. But
I enjoy the happy hours just because I don't, you know, and you know, you've seen recently, and I'm going to drop one for yourself and David, but a big thing for me is, you know, I've set up a group for you recently called DCAF, so Data Center Alcohol Free. You know, just we have a WhatsApp group, and we're talking about when we go to events and looking after each other and saying, hey, do you want to come out and, you know, we'll do something else. And I want to have a DCAF bar in the corner where we'll have a mixologist and we'll have somebody, you know,
like
throwing out some cool mocktails and some stuff.
We'll
like
have that this year.
A bit of fun. Yeah.
But we'll also have yoga in the morning. We'll have we'll have guided green belt hikes. I mean, I'll do the Hill of Life with people, right? So I think people are coming to this thing. If we made healthier alternatives and options available to them, I think they would use it. Yeah. I think that most people are awakening in this fifth industrial revolution, and they're becoming more aware of the things that they're doing that are unhealthy for them. And some people just don't know how to rotate on that. And I think this is where these things will start. So
absolutely. I think one of the things that really clicked for me, like, you know, we saw in camp, for example, you know, friends of ours in the industry did a bike ride. Friends of ours, you know, did a swim.
Yoga.
We did yoga. There was a hike done by yonder, and other people did things. We organized golf, yada, yada, yada. But one of the things we did, and me and two friends, a friend and then a friend of his who I got to know, had a chat, and a couple other people were like, you know, I'd love to do a run, and I like running, as you know. And
you let her run, didn't you?
Sorry, so we organised a run, and you know, it was very casual. There was no sponsors. There was nothing about money. It was nothing about anything. It was just, if you fancy coming out at 7 o'clock in the morning after probably one of the biggest nights on the beer of the data center year, then come on out and we'll have some fun and we'll run. And people were able to run a 5 or a 10. We got, you know, 70 people registered for that run. Not a lot of people knew about it. It was online.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know about it.
38 people turned up at the right location and ran. 17 people turned up at a wrong location and still ran. And about 10 other people I spoke to felt bad that they didn't get out that early, so went out an hour later and did a run and texted me going, oh, by the way, I did my run, send me a picture. So 50 to 60 people got their backsides out of bed at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, because they know, this is a hard-paced environment we're in, and this conference or these conferences are hard-paced, but they wanted to do something for themselves. And I think, a lot of these people might have done something themselves on their own, but to be able to network while you're doing that, to be able to jump in the sea afterwards and go for a swim with She and Nagel to organise a swim and stuff like that, you know, that's so cool. So I think the same way as you've brought the happy hour of the conference is inside the conference, we bring that inside the conference too. And that's how we really, I think, you know, turn the wheel of what we do here.
Well, listen, man, there's no better way to wrap this up and bring this podcast home. I think that's the perfect way to close it out.
Appreciate it, man.
It's been an honor. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.